Oh yeah, I'm still there.
You're still there?
I'm still here.
Me too.
It's exciting.
It says you're now live.
We're live!
Live from my sewing room. This is the Leah and Chelsea show.
Woo woo!
You're ridiculous.
That's what I have going on today.
So back before Christmas,
I made a skirt,
out of stretch velvet.
and now I have a lot left. There's still more at home. I only took a piece of it today.
Oh, okay.
There's more at home. I think I can make a top now, too.
Ooh.
I'm going to. I
Nice.
just got to figure it out.
Figure out what kind of top you'd like.
Yeah, I'm going to do a no pattern top, I think. Maybe when I can wear to work and feel fancy.
Sure. We can find a pattern too.
I can wear stretch velvet at work, right?
Totally. It might get linty, but that's okay. It's fine.
Do I not look linty today? Let's be honest.
I too am linty. We work in a sewing store.
One thread.
Oh, this chunk will work great.
That's what I
for
was
what
thinking.
For what we're gonna do today.
That's actually one of the offcuts from the bottom of the skirt.
Perfect. So we figured with Chelsea's super adorable skirt from before Christmas, it's gonna be hanging in store next week probably.
Yeah, I'm hoping to remember to bring it to work tomorrow.
Oh, okay. That works.
Okay.
She's also got long hair, which I don't have. And every once in a while she needs it put up. So we're going to make her matching scrunchie.
Most of the time I need it up because I'm always sewing and it's in my way.
It's everywhere. That's why I chopped all of mine off.
Yes, that's fine. I wear a ponytail most of the time.
Right? We've done another scrunchie video a while back. I'm trying to figure out where the studio was in the room when we did that. It was in the second location, but not the third location when you started.
Oh, so this is the fourth.
Yeah. Our studio's like shifting around the classroom. I think this is a really good setup now.
I think I heard there might be a new setup in the works though at some point.
Like a brief shift from where we are now.
A brief shift.
Not
It'll
like
be pretty much in the
not
same
like a
spot.
spin 180 degrees.
No.
The studio was like there for a little bit.
Oh, that's an interesting spot.
Yeah, we were trying to deal with we have really big windows in our classroom, and we get some weird lighting happening at 4 p.m. because our windows face west.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever want to come hang out in a beautiful classroom with a view of the mountains, got a lovely classroom. We'd love to have you in the store.
We see the most beautiful sunsets out of these windows too.
Watching storms in the summer is my favorite.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I love cleaning back here and then a storm starts and I'm like, oh yeah.
Right? Yeah, no, and we get to watch traffic on the cloud, which is always entertaining too.
Yes, same with all the sirens. We know what's up.
Yeah. Motorcades. Have you watched a motorcade go by before?
No.
I've watched a motorcade go by a couple times out this window because they come out with a cloud. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So anyway, we're gonna make a scrunchie today. That's where this meander was going. Studio was over there last time I made a scrunchie. Last time I made a scrunchie on live, we did it on a serger. So today we're gonna do it on a sewing machine because not everybody has a serger. And the principles are gonna be the same whether you're serging or sewing, but a couple things you'll want to have on your machine to manage the stretch velvet is either a walking foot or dual feed, because stretch velvet is stretchy.
Oh, I'm glad I picked an 880 with a dual feed foot then.
Right?
Perfect.
This fabric doesn't fray, so I'm not worried about that being an issue.
Oh, me neither. It's very pretty.
Move that for a moment. And then scrunchies, there's not hard, fast math on scrunchies.
Yeah, I figured we could just whack off a nice wide chunk that is long. I want a really...
You want to
I want a poofy scrunchie.
Okay.
So it's, you know...
The last one I made wasn't super poofy because Sarah's got really... Well, she had thinner hair when I did that video.
I don't have a lot of hair, but I feel like I want my scrunchie large and in charge.
Okay. That's fair. So fullness of scrunchie, the more fabric the longer you make this and the wider you make it, the bigger your scrunchie will be.
Sure.
Do you want to... Oh, I guess I could flip to that camera.
Yes, I could also.
So, how long could we make this for you?
Oh, it
The last
keeps
one I
going.
cut at roughly 20 inches by 4 inches wide out of quilting cotton, and it was not like a super poofy scrunchie. So maybe 5 inches. You could go 5.5 with the scrap you have.
Sounds perfect.
Sounds perfect. Okay. Fabulous.
Very easy going, Leah.
And if I make this, right now that'll be about 20 inches long. We can make it a little longer, I think.
Let's go 24. Sounds fun.
Sure.
It's also the length of this mat.
Yeah, I have to stand up to do that. I can't reach that
Oh,
far.
very good. I'm sorry.
Then all the extra fabric is in the wrong place on the table. Because there's our monitor is way at the end. That's okay.
Yes, blame the monitor.
I am blaming the monitor. That's exactly what's happening. I'm glad you understand.
It's always the monitor's fault.
So in the stretch velvet, we've got about 6 colors of stretch velvet here in store. 6, 5?
5. It's called Sophia.
And it's linked in the video details. Yes?
Oh, yes, of course it is. Why would I not link it, Leah?
I know.
I enjoy that you trust me so much that you just go with it.
I'm just going with it. Yeah. We'll see if I can squeak out another inch in a bit here.
Oh, that's beautiful cutting job. I wonder why I cut that so
I don't know.
snaggle tooth.
It's okay. So sewing this together, we're going to sew essentially a tube. But what we don't want when we're doing this is to have a really gnarly seam where the two ends join.
No.
So the workaround for that is to sew this tube slightly differently than what you might expect. So we're gonna roughly sew from there. We're gonna sew down that closed edge,
Geese?
or the 2 raw edges. You're gonna want to leave a gap about, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches.
Okay.
Because we're gonna have to turn our scrunchie at some point. And we need to shove all this fabric back through there. So really, we're gonna sew this with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It's stretch velvet. It's going to go just fine. And straight stitch, regular seam stitch length. Leave yourself a gap somewhere along the way.
Somewhere. I like
not
picky.
like way far down.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of in the middle. Not in the
no,
middle,
like go like
at the end?
2 or 3 inches and then leave a gap. There is a really one question on YouTube is, do you have any red? A really gorgeous, it's a burgundy kind of color. It's gorgeous for the stretch velvet.
I might need a leader with this. Maybe.
Or just start inward a little bit.
Yeah. Let me just snip it.
Oh, we were starting right on the edge.
Yes, I like going crazy.
Oh. So, there you go.
There we go.
You probably back up to the corner if you want.
Yeah, I totally could. I don't work on an 880 sewing very often. There we go. I'm normally embroidering on these guys. So it's a different
Different feel.
thing for me to flex, which is always fun.
Well, I could have made the scrunchie, but it's Chelsea's scrunchie, so we're gonna let her make it.
I need to do the work. All right, how long do we want our gap to be?
Like 2 to 3 inches. And you're just using your knee lift to lift the presser foot and move down along there. We can snip that thread afterwards.
Like, oh, I hit the wrong button, Leah. Leah, I should never hit these buttons.
That's fine. You're fine.
Just hitting extra buttons. Don't mind me. We got this. just gonna lift that up, wiggle that back in. Perfect.
And if you're having, like, we didn't pin or clip this, you could use wonder clips or pins if you're worried about all the shifting. But at the end of the day, it's a scrunchie.
It's a comfy one.
So we're not sewing a wedding gown. We're sewing a scrunchie.
I was sewing something I was worried about, I would
Most definitely pin.
pin it or do something.
But that dual feed's managing the stretch really well. And that's one of the huge advantages to dual feed is it will keep things, both layers moving together very nicely. And you won't have the shift in your top layer that normally happens when you're sewing.
Hit the right button this time.
Right?
All right. So Leah was telling me some interesting trick about putting this end into here, or do I put this end through the middle?
Okay. So from
Oh, I
here,
gotta snip these threads.
yeah, snip those threads.
My jump thread.
Yeah, snip those pull through threads. Oh, we're back on the top camera. Sorry.
Oh, very good.
I'll stop playing with the other fabric in my hand.
ASMR. I'm gonna get that one. All right.
So, from here, what we want to do is turn this tube most of the way out. So the side that you left the gap on, we need to leave that on the outside. So we're going to fold the rest of this up through there. The stretch velvet's slippy for the most part. So, and this is a pretty big tube. Like, we could get a tube turner, but it's pretty hefty.
Hefty tubes. We like those.
Yeah. And whereas sometimes if you're trying to turn a tube, it's really important to keep your seam allowances aligned. We're not going to worry about that too much in a moment here anyway.
Oh no, it's a scrunchie.
So scrunchie, we're doing
We're
something
not
different.
worried.
So once I've got that through there, and up that way, when you're looking at it, when those seam allowances are aligned, we're going to have bulk to deal with in the end of that tube, so we can make sure that this is gone through kind of in an organized manner. It didn't, but that's okay. It's scrunchy.
It's my favorite type of organized.
We're not aiming for organized here. We're aiming for scrunchy.
Yes. So
rather than trying to sew these two ends together after we've got elastic in there and trying to get up over the hump and all that fabric, what we're going to do is we're going to close the ends of the tube and attach them together and then use this opening to get our elastic in.
That sounds excellent.
So to reduce bulk and to keep this scrunchie a little more interesting and help it keep its floof.
And more scrunchy.
More scrunchied. When we start with this and those seam allowances are aligned, not ideal. Because then you have a lump that we're going to have to get over going around this tiny little circle. So what we're going to do is essentially take that inner layer and rotate it 180 degrees. You could pin this if you were feeling very exact about it.
I'm not going to do that. It's a scrunchie.
Okay. There's sometimes very exact sewing is the right answer. Sometimes it's overkill.
Sometimes winging it is actually very relaxing.
Well, and this is something where if you have a younger sewer that wants to learn something, like my daughter's almost at scrunchy age, reducing the pressure to make it perfect makes it more approachable for a new sewer.
Totally.
And this is something where you can have great success and lots of fun. I know I've definitely had kids through the store that are like in the scrunchie making business and selling to all their friends at school.
Oh, totally. And we had that one young girl that came in and bought a little strip in every color, and she's making a scrunchie in 5 different stretch velvets. It's adorable.
Yeah. So this is now lined up. So we're going to sew around this tiny little opening. And this is too small to go around your free arm. So when you get that over onto the bed of the machine, you're just going to have to take it easy.
Alrighty. Don't go crazy. Got it.
No, and the 1/4 inch foot that we've got on there right now should fit. and you just want to go slow and
What? So I can slide in.
Yep.
Oh, right, my dual feet's a little in the way, but that's okay. We'll make it work. Should I release my dual feet?
nope,
Okay.
just leave it in there. It'll be okay once you get going.
Okay. We'll just sew onto it. Why not? And then once I have my needle down.
Maria on YouTube says, my favorite technique, winging it.
Great. I like Maria.
There's times when I'm very much for the very exact science of sewing. But deep breath. We're making a scrunchie.
Scrunchie, scrunchie.
And this same turn could be done on a serger, but generally serger feet are longer, so it's a little bit trickier to manage.
Well, totally. And on here, if you have a young sewer, I can crank my speed all the way down.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about hitting my fingers at all, which is great. Takes a lot of the pressure off.
Right? And you're not going to go like 100 miles an hour around this, and it's not, we're sewing roughly 5 inches now that we've taken that seam allowance out.
It's very pokey.
Too pokey for Chelsea.
It's too pokey. Oh, we're back to the center. Worse. I'm liking my sewing skills today. They are not straight, but you know what? It's a scrunchie.
Well, and if we were using a foot without dual feed there, it would have been a little shorter foot to manage.
That's okay. It still worked pretty well. Kind of the technique is sew on to it, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, and we ended up with a little wider seam allowance, but that's okay.
You gave me a seam allowance to work.
Apparently not. We're winging it.
I am winging it, Leah.
So it's really easy to turn this right way out now because we have a loop to hold on to.
I like my seam allowance, okay?
And right now that looks like massively too big.
Looks like a neck warmer.
So you can make headbands this way too.
You totally could.
You might want to measure more for a headband.
I think it fits perfect.
Okay, well, we'll make another one. I have the very exact dimensions of what we made that one. No, I don't.
We are winging it, Leah.
Right? From here you need elastic. All that elastic you bought and is lurking in your drawers from making masks will probably work.
I definitely brought in my roll of elastic.
No
problem.
This is, if you know who you're making this for and you know kind of how much hair they have, you can do a test run with elastic to see how big of a scrunchie they need, like size-wise. Your elastic needs to be significantly shorter, and it needs to stretch as we go.
That
So
is great description.
So technical.
So great. I love it.
So this piece was about 25 inches long. I would cut this maybe like 11.
I lost the whole.
Because you wanted a floofy scrunchie.
Oh, yeah.
Like 10 to 12, about half. This is a very, very stretchy elastic. It's not a very firm elastic. So it's going to stretch all the way through.
Sure will.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
So super duper math skills. I'm saying 12 inches. Yeah.
Sure. I'm good with 12 inches.
And then, do you want to do bodkin on the close-up?
Oh, sure. So you have a
So
little bodkin.
So the bodkin's going to be the easiest way to feed your elastic through this. We'll hang on to one side, loop all the way around. If you're nervous about sewing into the elastic at the end, you could just tie these ends. That would be one option. Or we could sew the elastic shut in a loop. And then we'll test the scrunchie before we close up the hole. Because we can make the elastic shorter, but we can't make it longer.
This is true. We could
And
also.
this is way stretchier than the last
Okay,
elastic
yeah.
I used.
There we go. We're at the end. That was fast. This is going to be so adorable.
You're gonna do a fashion show for us in a moment?
Okay, I'm just going to tie it for now. Then we can sew it if we like it.
Yeah.
If I can untie it again after.
We'll see.
If I can't,
So
then
if you like really, if you had somebody who was new to sewing and sewing through the elastic was a challenge, this is one way to get there.
Just a little knot.
I like to zigzag through my elastic to hold it.
This is adorable.
And then when you start looking at this, I don't know if you'll be able to find your opening once it's all scrunchy.
Oh no, I had actually a challenge finding it, and even looking at it right now, you can't. Oh, I'm not actually on the camera. My opening is right here, oddly enough, but you can barely see it.
Yeah.
If I play with it.
Yeah.
I feel like that'll be a nice scrunchie. Should
Okay.
we put it on top?
I don't know. Put it on your hair.
Okay. Put it in my hair.
Put it in your hair.
We can do
We'll
this.
test this and then decide if we're done or not.
Watch me lose the ends of the elastic somewhere there.
We'll find it.
All right. What do we think?
It's pretty cute.
It's hilarious. I love it. This would actually be perfect for a bun.
Yeah, it's a big enough
Yeah.
scrunchie to hold a bun if
Let's
you
do
need a
that.
kiddo to go to dance.
We can do a bun on camera.
You can. I can't.
Well, I can.
I don't even know if I could get. Some of my hair might be long enough to put into like a silly little like stand up on top of Cindy Lou Who kind of ponytail.
Well, this'll go all crazy. There we go. That is adorable. My bun technique could use some work, but I like it.
So without a hairbrush live on camera, I think you're doing okay. So if you're comfortable with the length that's at,
Oh, totally.
we'll go back and find that knot, and if we can take it apart, we will. Probably slipped through there. And
That was pretty easy.
you didn't tie a super duper forever knot.
Might have. It might be a super duper forever knot, Leah.
Let me try with my. Oh, you got it.
Stiletto for the win. All right.
Okay, so what I would do here is overlap those so they're flat, and then stitch back and forth across that.
All right.
And you've got a straight stitch on the machine right now, which is not ideal, but we could go that way instead.
Just gonna lower my foot and jam it under.
If you're making a whole bunch of scrunchies with a stretch velvet fabric, you would want to be switching to a stretch needle, something like a jersey or a full-on stretch needle. And the stretch needles will be way friendlier with your elastic as well.
Perfect. You're doing a great job, Leah. Oop. Might not be- there we go. Just needed a little coercing.
If it was wider elastic, I would zigzag across the width where those attach, like where they overlap. But overlapping them this way, we can trim off the tails.
That's very good sewing. I'm having a good sew day, Leah. All right. Now what?
And now, if you actually want to close this up and not have an opening, with thread that nearly matches, what we can do is go in and do a super skinny little top stitch right here.
Or I could use black.
Black is close enough.
Black looks pretty good with this green.
Yeah, so you'll want to get like both those layers kind of as close to the fold as you can. On this particular foot, your line up point for that is going to be like inside edge of the inner toe.
Okay. Put that down. I like the hover function. And I can just kind of jam it in. And then I can use needle. Alright, and I'll just drop my needle. It's going very straight too. Yeah. Sewing live is always so hard.
It's a fine art.
It is. Not one I've mastered.
That's okay.
But one I'm totally okay with. It's very cute.
Yeah, that little tiny seam allowance, by the time you get the scrunchie like rolled and curled around your hair, you're not going to see that at all.
What seam allowance?
Right? Right? Where was the hole?
Where's the hole? I like it. Turned out great. This is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's super fun. Like, play with the width and the length that you make them, because the more length and width you put in there, the more volume you'll have in your scrunchie, and then find the length of elastic that works for your hair.
You didn't know we also made a headband, did you?
I'm so excited. I can wear a headband.
Will this fit you on you?
I don't know. Let's see.
Go for it. This is great. We made a headband and a scrunchie in one. It looks so cute. I like your hair this style.
But yeah, we could have made this quite different, quite a bit smaller. I know, like, really tiny little kiddos have way less hair to manage, so giant scrunchies don't always work in their hair, so make it a little narrower and a little shorter.
Totally.
So, there you go.
We got scrunched.
Got scrunched. Other things going on here in the fabulous world of my sewing room. Tomorrow morning, it's Thursday, December 12th. Not December, January. Oh my goodness.
Tomorrow is the 13th of January.
We have our first quilting live in person and on Zoom. Quilting first class since pre-pandemic. Very excited. Anne has been recording the entire class so that all the students who are signed up will have access to a complete recording of all the steps they need. So we're ahead of the students right now. Anne's ahead of the students right now. But the inner part of her quilt top is assembled.
It's so cute.
So cute.
It's all Lori Holt.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's scrumptious.
It's so adorable.
That's been happening here in the studio when we haven't been doing live.
Mm-hmm.
And then both her and Nancy got excited and made bags over the last week.
Did you see the exciting part on Nancy's? Okay, so we can go over this one first. So
Okay.
this is one Anne made. It's with cinnamon and cream.
It's a June Tailor Alexandra tote, so it's a quilt as
Yeah.
you go bag.
And it just has a nice white lining. But you'll see there's no pocket. Because
Right.
that's how the pattern was written. But Nancy did something. She added a pocket.
There's a pocket.
She added a pocket. It's great.
Yeah. And she said it went together about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah. She said it took longer to cut the strips to make it than to
sew
make it.
Yeah, than to sew it together. So
Which is excellent.
yeah, this is the Alexandra tote, quilt as you go from June Tailor. Super fun and easy to work with. If you've got a jelly roll, it's jelly roll friendly.
Oh yeah, 2.5-inch strips.
2.5-inch strips,
Easy
or work out of your scraps, or come find the perfect fabric for your whole bag.
Yeah. If you want a spring one, we have a new spring line. It is adorable.
What's that one called?
I forgot the name, so I have to actually look at it.
It's got really cute little bunnies.
I know, it's so cute. Welcome Spring.
Welcome Spring.
It's a
Nice.
very difficult name.
Nice. That's fantastic. So yeah, that's some of the stuff going on. Week and a half from now, we have a Hoop Sisters Facebook party. So if you want to know more about Hoop Sisters, you can go to our website, mysewingroom.ca, click onto our calendar and look at upcoming events and classes. Hoop Sisters Facebook party, you can get signed up. We'll send you an email with all the event details when that goes live. And it's a pop in and out, not like a scheduled be there all the time. The lovely ladies from Hoop Sisters will be going live during the event and sharing what they do. But they do phenomenal embroidery.
They really do.
And very different than some of our other brands like Kimberbell and OESD. So
yeah, a lot of quilts.
yeah,
Or wall hangings.
yeah, and full projects, not individual designs so much to place places.
Kind of like the calla lily that we're going to be making in class.
In February.
Yeah, in February.
Yeah. So those are some of the things coming up. And we have a Kimberbell event in February called One Sweet Spring.
Awesome. That's adorable.
Because by February, we're all ready for winter to be over.
It's true.
I'm not ready today. I put my studded tires on my bike and winter's still fun. But no, I know not everybody feels that way.
I just use it as sew days.
Right? So, on that vein, we should let you go for the evening. Go home and sew.
Go home and make a scrunchie.
Yeah. I'm sure you've got scrapped something that could be a scrunchie.
Yeah, that was easy.
Right?
That was good use of scraps.
It'd be way faster if you're not trying to film it, too.
Yeah, way faster if you're not working around a camera in your armpit.
Yeah. If you enjoyed today's video and you know somebody else who would like to make a scrunchie, share this with them. Comment below what color your scrunchie is going to be. And we look forward to seeing you again on another live.
Ooh, and please send in pictures of your scrunchies if you make them. We love to see what you're up to.
We do. You can send them to social@mysewingroom.ca if you want to share with the world. We'll get them shared out. Or join our Facebook group, mysewingroom.ca.